bought Waldom in April of 2003. It's a master distributor, meaning it sells to only other distributors. And the trends for master distribution were being favored. A lot of component suppliers were moving all of their manufacturing, or had moved all their manufacturing overseas. And in order to become more efficient, they raised MOQs and pushed out lead times. And that created voids of inventory in the channel where Waldom could come in, especially on long tail part numbers, C&D part numbers, low customer count part numbers, come in and support the channel on parts that they either had to wait 12 weeks to get, or where the minimums went, say, from like 100 pieces to like 4,000 pieces. And so we saw those trends happening, and we knew that master distribution would be a good solution. And so when we purchased Waldom, that was the initial strategy was, hey, let's take advantage of some of these trends. That was kind of Waldom 1.0. And, you fast forward kind of like 5 or 6 years, that value proposition wasn't as valuable anymore. A lot of our distributor partners had grown in size and scale, and they kept on increasing their breadth of inventory. And so they were less dependent on Waldom for MOQ relief, and they were less dependent on Waldom for availability on parts with long lead time. And that's when we had to evolve, and we started to come up with, instead of just having a pure master distribution company, we started to have specific programs. One of them being our green stock program, where we take back returned inventory that customers couldn't sell, and we find a home for it, and we do a profit share with the supplier. We also focused on more specific products, like long tail products, stuff that manufacturers didn't want to manufacture multiple times a year because it's inefficient. And we came to them and says, hey, Waldom will buy this in 12 to 18 month increments. You only have to make it once. It will really make your manufacturing more efficient. And that was kind of where we started going in 2010 and 2011 until now. So it was definitely an evolution. Our opportunity to open up in Europe in 2010 was a big turning point of going from being a national to a global. And, today Europe, we do, tens of millions of dollars there. We've got, 30 people there. We've got a warehouse there. And then shortly thereafter, a few years after 2010, I went down to Asia and I opened up Asia. So I think the programs, shifting from master distribution to things like green stock and long tail and so on, but going from national to global, that was a huge jump. One of the biggest things I'm proud of is the legacy that Waldom has. I mean, you go to a major convention, or you go to a industry meeting, people know who Waldom is today. Everyone does. Nobody knew who Waldom was in 2003. That really gives me a sense of fulfillment, of pride. When I look back on my life, what did you accomplish? I can look back at my 20 years here and be really proud. Never think the impossible is impossible. I mean, I never thought when we bought this company in April of 2003, 13 million, single location, limited line card, that today we would have, sales and distribution shows across the globe, 200 plus employees, almost 200 million in sales. I never thought that was possible. And so dream big. That's what I would say. Dream big, because dreams do come true.